All right. Well, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is food, fitness, and fun. I'm here with
Sensei Dre, the sensei of fitness and a whole bunch of things you ain't never heard of. What's good?
the the sensei of the step count in a minute.
Yo, just another one of my tools, bruh. So we'll talk about it towards the end.
Yeah, no doubt. And I am JD, aka He Who Pods. I don't need my specs on. Are we reading anything? No. So actually, I could take these off. Uh, yeah, and that's it. It's food, fitness, and fun. Let's get right into it. We're switching things up just a smidge today for our sponsored by. And so here is a video for y'all to check out about our sponsored by.
Well, it was a great season for watermelon, and you probably tried to avoid eating the seeds. But now watermelon seeds are actually being promoted as a superfood. Registered dietitian Nancy Dell has that in tonight's Food for Thought.
People in Africa, Asia, and the Middle East have long eaten watermelon seeds. That's a smart move, considering that the seeds actually have more nutrients than the fruit's juicy inside. A 1-ounce serving of dried watermelon seeds has 160 calories, 8 grams of protein, and 13 grams of mostly healthy fat, plus minerals such as iron, magnesium, phosphorus, potassium, and zinc. Watermelon seeds are roasted to make them taste good. They are being promoted as a superfood with claims that they are beneficial for everything from obesity and arthritis to diabetes and the immune system. But studies have largely been done with animals. Human trials are needed before anyone starts eating watermelon seeds for the supposed medical benefits. The watermelon seed market is expected to swell over the next several years. You can buy them roasted. You can roast them yourself or look for watermelon seed butter, powder, and protein bars in stores. With Food for Thought, I'm Nancy Dell.
All right. That, ladies and gentlemen, is our very different sponsored by watermelon seeds.
Yes.
Uh, so you sent me this video, and I was like, okay, I'll see what's up. And I watched it. Actually, I watched it twice just because I wanted to make sure I understood correctly.
Yeah.
And so they are saying lots of studies have been done on animals, and there are lots of benefits to animals for eating watermelon seeds, and that they are expecting the watermelon seed industry to boom. That you're going to be able to get baked seeds, powder from seeds, protein bars, the whole shebang.
Yeah. So yeah, I wanted to talk about this because just recently, it's hot, it's summer, and watermelon is one of those fruits that,
We go
people
to.
want it. We go right to, right? And we had some watermelon in the house. I'm enjoying it, tasting good. And, someone was like, "Are you eating the seeds?" I was like, "Yeah." Like, what? Oh my God, eating the seeds. I'm like, "You ain't know about this?" So I thought people knew about this because I got my knowledge from like old school cats from back in the days, like when I was in Brooklyn. A lot of people from the islands already know this, Jamaican cats, Caribbean cats, they already know the benefits of it. And so that's something that I've like been doing, you know what I'm saying? And so when I was looked at like I was strange, I was like, you know what? Let's talk about this because I think most people do just spit those out and put them in the trash and you're missing so much. So as the video, like you said, talks about, and I pulled up here, there's crazy benefits to actually eating the seeds rather than just spitting them out, and especially for me. So genetically, I have what they call hypertension or high blood pressure. And so it runs in my family. It's just the way it is. And as I'm getting older, I have to be more cognizant of these things, So I check my blood pressure from time to time, and I do things and eat things that will help bring it down. And so, one of the benefits of eating watermelon seeds is that it helps lower blood pressure. But I also got, and as you saw in the video, It's like filled with magnesium. And so magnesium is what we need for energy production, nerve function, DNA, protein synthesis. And we're talking about building muscle. That's all about protein synthesis. Um, and it also activates enzymes that helps the blood absorb nutrients and digest food. Also, it has folate, and folate, as they say, can sort of like help with depression and reduce the risk of cancer. Also, it has monosaturated and polysaturated fats, you know, and that's for like helping your heart. When people say certain foods are good for your heart, those seeds are good for your heart,
All
as
right,
well
healthy
as,
fat.
yeah, as well as essential amino acids. You might see sometimes in the gym, people are walking around drinking liquid amino acids. You need amino acids to help build muscle, and those seeds have those essential amino acids. So why rather you going and buying a bottle, you're actually spitting out the thing you're drinking. You know what I mean? And it has antioxidants, right? And antioxidants help build immunity. And so in this time where everybody is something, not everybody, a lot of people are catching COVID again. It's the new variant. As we said when we started this thing, let's focus on things that build the immunity rather than having treatment. So, yeah, just wanted to kind of spread that news and let people know, hey, um, I thought, I think Caribbean cats know, people who grew up in like indigenous communities, but I think that most Americans don't understand the benefits of eating those watermelon seeds.
Got it. Well, I think there's a bit of a complex here that the video didn't talk about, and neither did you,
Uh huh.
which is that less and less seeds are in things in the United States
Yeah.
because the fruits and vegetables that we're eating are less quote unquote organic, less quote unquote homegrown. And so I think it's very different for the person in the Caribbean to eat what is clearly the real watermelon, the natural homegrown organic watermelon, than us who are buying it at Walmart or Whole Foods or wherever. I am on the other side of this, actually. I am not eating any of those seeds because I don't know what the hell is in them. A lot of these fruits and vegetables are not the real deal. I remember a story in my own family of my grandfather who has a farm in PR, and he brought fruit back from PR.
Mm
And my dad came over to the house one day. I wasn't there, but I've been told this story many times.
hmm. Mm
And
hmm.
my dad was eating an apple, a regular apple from the store, from the supermarket. And my grandfather asked him, "Well, what's that?" He said, "Papi, come on, man. I'm eating an apple. Of course you know what that is." He said, "That's not an apple. I'm
Mm.
going to show you an apple." And so my dad's apple was, a regular sized apple, right? Apples have gotten significantly smaller from when I was a child. And if you know that, most apples today, they're not giant. They're pretty tiny.
Mm
And
hmm.
so my dad was eating what we now have as a normal apple. My grandfather said, "I'm going to show you a real apple." And he went to the other room and came back with what my dad described as a giant apple. And he said, "Where the hell did you get that apple?" He said, "From my trees in Puerto Rico." He said, "That's crazy."
Mm.
And my sister said, "Jay, this is like probably the biggest apple I've seen in a long time." She said the
Mm.
apple was bigger than my dad's fist.
Mm hmm.
And he
Mm hmm.
said, throw that garbage away and eat this real apple. And
Yeah.
so I'm on the other side of this. I'm going to say, if you're in America, we have to be very careful what we're eating, because I'm seeing more and more that even the organic quote unquote fruit. I saw a video just online just like this weekend that just passed, where someone went and bought organic fruit. It was actually, excuse me, vegetables. They bought a bag of mini peppers,
Yep.
and they turned it around, and there was a sticker on the back that it doesn't look like a sticker. If you don't mess with it, it doesn't seem like it's a sticker, but they peeled off the sticker And what you see in the video where they didn't do any editing, you can see, and they even say, I'm talking while I'm doing this. So you see that I'm not doing any editing. And they peel off what, again, doesn't look like a sticker. And when they peel it off, what do you see? Bill Gates' company is underneath the sticker,
Mm-hmm.
meaning that those peppers came from Bill Gates' fruit and vegetable company,
Mm-hmm.
meaning that those are not the organic peppers that she paid for.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we already have enough challenges. I think if they're trying to quote unquote boom the industry, then they're probably stepping all over the real product. And so if you're in the Caribbean watching this, have a blast, eat those seeds. I'm not going to eat seeds from anything because I don't know what the hell is in these seeds. I feel like I'm already taking a risk eating the fruits and vegetables in this country, period. So no, I'm not going to eat the franken seeds that are inside of it.
Yeah.
I'm going to pass on that one.
Yeah. 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 It's we've talked about, the Franken fruits and vegetables and as well as the meats on this show many a times, and it is definitely out there. You know what I'm saying? And so I cannot, you know, uh, basically go against what you're saying because I do understand that. However, I will say that the more you can go to like farmers markets and stuff like that, and as you just said with that story, sometimes you might think it's organic, but you gotta do your homework. Where I'm at in Louisiana is known for having fresh vegetables. A lot of people have big watermelon patches, so uh, that's where I know we got a watermelon from. But I can't say without lab results it's A and it's B. And so I completely understand your mistrust because we live in a system of capitalism. And sometimes capitalism says, forget about the customers, just make as much money as possible and nothing else
Of
matters.
course. I
But
mean, when's the last time you saw a seed in oranges?
right, and that's the other thing I was going to say is that they're they're growing these seedless watermelons, seedless oranges, seedless this and seedless that because they want to make things quote unquote convenient for you. But once you make something seedless, it's not an actual real fruit or vegetable. You see what I'm saying? Something else is going on there. So if you cut a watermelon and you see zero seeds, right there you should know something ain't right. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Something ain't right. It's supposed to have
Because I,
seeds in it.
I remember when I was younger, even as old as 10 years old, I would eat one orange and have to spit out mad seeds.
Yes.
Today, I could cut open a bag of oranges. I might see four seeds, maybe,
Yeah.
maybe. And I'm talking about a wide variety of oranges from Walmart, from Whole Foods, from my guy at the fruit stand. You might see four seeds. I remember there were more than four seeds in one orange. And my daughter, who's 14, no longer even remembers grapes with seeds in them.
Yeah. See, the way farming used to go is, you grew things, especially fruits and stuff, and you would save your seeds for the next harvest. But
Correct.
they're using fruit, vegetables, food the same way they do with products, meaning this is only supposed to last but for so long. Then you got to go back and buy more seeds. They don't want you reharvesting, constant reharvesting, right? And so we're in this state where they actually have a campaign called the Save the Seed campaign, uh, trying to stop this or encourage people to save your seeds. Monsanto has had lawsuits against people who saved their seeds, saying
Yep.
that, well, those are our seeds. You can't save them. You see what I'm saying? So I know this is going into a whole nother topic, but the only thing I was kind of making known to is that, eating seeds, especially watermelon seeds, can be good for you. And of course, I'm talking about, if you're getting things from good sources, but that goes with anything fruits, vegetables, meats. You know, we're all out here trying to get the best food choices we possibly can, and that's and in that breath is what I'm talking about.
Gotcha. So let's talk about something we speak about all the time here, and
Yeah.
that is celebrities and steroids. Here is a clip for y'all to watch once again.
You ever juiced? Were you able to get that way on your own?
Yeah, absolutely. I started working out when I was 12 years old.
Okay, dope. So I'm going to cut you guys the real deal on that whole juicing thing. When people ask you to admit to a federal offense on live television, the moral thing to do becomes to lie about it. This is something that I would call an unbecoming question from someone who just doesn't know the legal and ethical landscape involved. I mean, or a totally innocent mistake, but you generally just don't ask people that sort of thing because they'd be admitting to a crime. Yes, John Cena's on steroids. Everybody in the WWE is on steroids, but for maybe one person ever or something. When you get that big and that strong and that jacked and that lean at the same time, almost certainly anabolics are involved. And John's gonna lie about it, as well he should.
Okay, so for those who don't know Dr. Mike is a sports scientist from the Bronx, and he's got lots of videos about different parts of fitness, and he speaks about them from the perspective of his degree and the things he's been doing at, I believe, is Lehman College in the Bronx for many years. Other podcasters have seeked out his advice as well. So he's all over the place. And so I follow him, and this clip came across my YouTube Shorts feed. I thought I would share it here. And so here is him reviewing, I guess, John Cena's workout, and this came up. He does lots of workout reviews. This is not an ad. He didn't pay us. I'm just trying to give context to the audience. But Howard Stern asked John Cena about steroids, and Dr. Mike says something we've said many times, which is that cats are not going to admit they're on steroids. I think he put it a different way than we normally do, which I thought was interesting. He's saying, listen, it's illegal. Why would they say yes to doing something illegal? And I never thought of it from that perspective. I just felt like cats don't keep it real because they don't want to put their career at jeopardy. And that's a different way of putting it at jeopardy. But yeah, I mean, if it's illegal, then yeah. And you've said that before, that, you know, in a lot of places it's illegal. But yeah, I thought that was interesting. And so what do you think?
I mean, I've said on this podcast pretty much the same thing that he said. It's illegal, especially a celebrity. Why would they admit to something illegal? You know, if you lost weight and you're a celebrity and you lost weight doing cocaine, you're not going to be like, oh yeah, you know, I just, you know, did a couple of lines every night. You can't say that, right? It's illegal, you know. But I've been saying it from the inception of this podcast is that, look, the bigger issue is they're not going to make this thing. They made this thing illegal in the 90s, you know, and no one that has a lot to lose is going to get on camera and say, I take these things. But those who know, meaning if you can look at somebody's body, you can tell, okay, you know, they have some enhancement some places, you know. There's another video where Michael B. Jordan is saying, you know, it's basically something about, you know, Hugh Jackman, right? And Michael B. Jordan is like, yeah, Hugh Jackman, 55 years old, and we know that we just had the new movie of Deadpool and Wolverine, and people look, oh, Hugh Jackman got that body again. Wow, how we do it? And then Michael B. Jordan is, oh yeah, you know, I spoke to Hugh Jackman and he told me what to do. Right? But we also know there's a video out there where Hugh Jackman says, yeah, I spoke to The Rock and he told me what to do. Okay, so we know The Rock used to be a wrestler And so are we
Right.
saying that the people in WWE or slash WWF, what it used to be back in the days, were not on steroids? Come on.
Right.
Like, this is what it is. If you want to get that look as
Right.
quick as possible, especially if you're talking about you need to be this way for a movie that has dates and times and deadlines. Hey, we said this before. I forgot the name of it, but we were talking about the movie The Prestige, right? Where it's like, hey, if you want to learn, if you want to do a particular magic trick, magicians know how to do that trick. Oh, you want to make a man disappear? Well, you need a duplicate. You need a twin, some
Only
sort
way
of
to do
duplicate.
it.
You need a lookalike. If you can't do the disappearing man without a lookalike, that's
It's
just the
the
way
only
it
way to do
works.
it. It's the only way I know
You
how to do it.
can't look that way in a really, really quick time without enhancements. That's
Right.
the only way to do it. And so there's people out there who feel like, okay, well, yeah, wrestlers might take that, but Dwayne The Rock Johnson wouldn't, or well, Dwayne The Rock Johnson might do that, but not Hugh
But not Hugh
Jackman. Well,
Jackman.
well, Hugh Jackman might do it, but there's no way Michael B. Jordan is going to do it. What are you
Right.
talking about? It's all the same trick. You need a lookalike for this trick,
Right.
and you need enhancements for this trick. That's
Right.
that's the trick. You know what I'm saying? So
Yep.
I'm not mad at any of them for they have to lie. They
Right.
have to. And
Right.
so now that John Cena's blowing up, and I think I said this before when we were talking about Arnold Schwarzenegger. Arnold Schwarzenegger put out this really great documentary. We talked about it here on this platform. And I was
Yeah.
like, it was great. It was wonderful. He thanked everybody but steroids. And it's like,
He did thank steroids, but he lied
no,
about it.
he didn't.
Though.
He
He
didn't
lied. He
thank
said he
steroids.
admitted he did steroids.
He admitted it, but he didn't thank steroids. Thank you, steroids is what I'm saying. He said he did it.
Okay.
He said, I did them when it wasn't illegal. That is true, right? They weren't illegal for a certain time, especially when he was getting started, And once they became illegal, he said he stopped. I disagree, but okay. But you never thanked steroids. You gotta thank steroids. Yo, if it wasn't for steroids, I couldn't look like that. That's thanking steroids.
Okay.
You're making it kind of like, yeah, I took them. I'm not so proud of it. No, be proud of it. It turned you into who you were. You wouldn't have been Mr. Olympia, Mr. America, or whatever without it. So thank steroids. Thanked everybody else. Why wouldn't you thank steroids? You gotta thank steroids. They helped you get there. They helped you be recognized.
Right.
And he was taking them when he was 16 years old, 15 years old, right? He doesn't want to thank steroids. Now, when he was younger, he did. In fact, he used to call a particular steroid like Wheaties. In the morning, you just take one of these every morning. It's like Wheaties. He used to kid around like that, when he was young. Of course, once you want to become a movie star and become a governor, you can't have that kind of language no more because it's a federally illegal substance. And that's what Dr. Mike Tell, I think his name is. I know his thing is called Renaissance Fitness or something like that. And yeah, I completely agree with him. Like, it's a federal crime. Why would you get on camera and say I'm doing a federal crime? You got too much to lose. I'm not going to say that. So you're going to say, well, what is it? Rice, and we're going to say chicken breast
and broccoli
and brown rice. Yeah, broccoli, brown rice, and chicken. That's all I did. That's all I did. I didn't do nothing else, and I worked out.
That's it.
And I looked tremendous on camera. Okay. All right. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not mad at John Cena. Why would he be any different than any other actor? You're not going to have me say something that can mess up my career. Now, I want to say one more thing, and I'll put it to you. There are so many people who have platforms and admit to taking it, right? You can go on Instagram or whatever. There's a lot of people who say, hey, I take this thing. That's That's like their thing. That's how they get their audience. And they don't care. And no one has come and bust down their door and arrested them. But what I'm saying is you can't expect that from movie star status. You know what I'm saying? I think it's very different. And I wouldn't expect someone who's banking on studios to hire him. Studios have to say, are you bankable? Are you going to have me lose money? And so you're trying to let the studios know, I'm great for your studio. I'm great for your project. Why would you say something like that and mess things up for yourself? Go
Right.
ahead.
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't really have too much to say. I thought it was interesting, uh, because Howard Stern, he just gets straight to it. So
Yeah,
uh, that wasn't surprising, but I thought Dr. Mike focusing on the legality aspect of it was
yeah,
good. A lot of times when we talk about it, I don't think about that. Yeah, you definitely mentioned it before, but the fact that he highlighted it, I think, is important. And also think Dr. Mike has a big platform,
yep,
so it's good that he was able to keep it real.
yep.
And I love that Dr. Mike is like, yeah, Mad Cats is on steroids, but they're not going to say it because it's illegal.
Including
So
Dr. Mike. He's
right,
had already admitted to it. Yes, I
yes, he
take him.
has, yeah,
Right,
he's admitted. Mhm. Yeah, he's admitted to it for sure. So yeah, but he's also in a different position, right?
right.
He's a college professor. He's got a PhD. He's also, got a very successful YouTube channel. He's not in the same position as John Cena, The Rock, and Hugh Jackman, right? These people, as you stated, are relying on this look to pay the bills.
Right.
If Dr. Mike decides, I'm going to just stop all working out tomorrow, he'll still keep his job at Lehman College, I'm sure.
Yep. Yep.
Uh, Very different. I mean, the YouTube channel, I guess it depends, but, you know, he's not going anywhere, is my point. He's an expert in his field, he's an expert in sports science. That there's nothing that's going to change that. And so he's in a different position. Yeah, he can admit it, and has, as you said. So I understand that people are relying on the look
Mm-hmm.
to keep the bills paid, and so I think that changes things. But I just think it's unfortunate that we have to lie about doing this thing,
I agree.
because especially the quote unquote superheroes, in Deadpool and Wolverine, which I saw, they mention his physique many times. And so there are young people, they don't have to be kids, but even young adults are looking at these people and saying, I want to look like that.
Of course.
I want to be like that. And so
Mm-hmm.
I feel like you kind of have a responsibility at a certain aspect, at a certain point, to those fans. Yeah, Dwayne Johnson is a monster when it comes to entertainment. He's filthy rich, and yeah, he works out a ton. But we also know he does steroids, and so his huge fan base should probably know that too. And I'm not saying people are stupid; they have no clue, but it creates a lot of confusion for the fans when you're saying constantly, no, I don't do that. I would never do that. I work out 4 times a day and I eat broccoli, brown rice, and only organic chicken breasts. Yeah, okay, nigga, you lying. And that creates confusion because people are going to go do those things and work out 4 times a day and they're going to look great. They're going to look phenomenal, far better than I have ever looked in my life. But they're not going to look like The Rock. They're not going to look like Wolverine version of Hugh Jackman. It's not going to happen. They're not going to look like John Cena because they're not taking steroids. And so, listen, that's really all I've got to say. I feel bad that this is how they have built up their brands. And I think you should look, if you're an actor today on steroids, I think you should look at it. Hugh Jackman, who, yeah, he'll take steroids to be Wolverine. But as soon as that shit is over, he goes back to being a very thin man, and that's it. He's not doing any of that anymore. And
And
I think that that's the person you should look at, because
yeah,
being jacked 24/7 is only possible one way. And that has a lot of effects. We have seen lots of people die from heart problems because of these steroids. And so that's something you should take note of. If you're going to do this extreme thing, well, you would put a limit on it, right? You wouldn't make sprinting something you do 24/7. Why? Because you can't sprint but for so long, right? Whatever that time frame is, when it's time to stop, you stop. Because if not, your heart will fail. And so this is very similar. This is something that you could do for a short time period. I'm not saying you should do it, but my point is you want to look at it and say, what are the what is it doing to me? What limits should I put on this usage? You don't see sprinters trying to sprint for 5 hours. They're not trying to run marathons as sprinters. No, they do the sprinting competitions. They say, hey, I'm going to run as fast as I can for this short burst of time, and then I'm going to relax. I'm going to do active recovery. I'm going to walk a little bit, and then when I'm ready, I'll go again. Well, then you should consider the same thing when it comes to these types of products, these type of things that you're putting in your body, because being on that shit 24/7, it has side effects, consequences, etc.
Yeah. And a couple of things I want to say before we move on to the next topic. One, I said this before, and on this topic that we spoke on, a lot of these cats, to avoid being criminalized, and I think this is where Dr. Mike comes in, you can get a prescription for these drugs. So they're illegal if you just like, okay, I'm just taking them. But if you have an actual doctor's prescription, then if you can take it. And so people who have the money and the means know which doctors to go to
Yeah,
who
you've
will
definitely said
prescribe,
that before.
yeah, who will prescribe these to you. And now if you need to go from LA to New York to Canada, whatever, you're taking your medicine with you. And that's not illegal. You could take your medicine wherever you need to take it, as long as it is a legal prescription. Okay. So Dr. Mike, right? He's a PhD in education, but I'm sure he knows people and where to go to get an actual prescription so that, hey, legally, I'm good. You can't just bust up in here. You can ask questions and I'll show you my prescription. Here it goes. And so a lot of cats do that. You know what I'm saying? So I don't want people to think that, it's all just illegal. But because it has a bad negative connotation, meaning it's still not a good thing to say on an interview, whether you're with Howard Stern or whoever. It's not a good thing to say on TV because of what you just said. I don't want kids coming out here doing this. I don't want some 17-year-old who wants to look like Wolverine going out there trying to find doctors that are going to give him this thing, right? And so I completely agree with you that, yeah, you need to understand the ramifications of anything that you take. You know, it's ramifications if you choose to drink alcohol, right? You could totally just like destroy brain cells, kill yourself, all kind of crazy stuff. So you need to understand that there's danger involved in almost anything that you do. And then the last thing is, we always talk about men, Hugh Jackman, et cetera, et cetera. But there are some of your lady Marvel superheroes or whoever's superhero or whoever's on television. Some of these women take it as well, And so I don't want to just end it like this is just something that men do. No, some of your women movie stars are taking just a little as well. And that topic hasn't really been breached because people think about men. They don't really think about women taking these things. Plenty of them do.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I think the reason that the focus is on men is because that quote unquote superhero body is a very specific look that we only see from men. We don't see women in movies looking like The Rock, Hugh Jackman, Henry Cavill, etc. Most of the time, when we see the quote unquote superhero body, it's a man, and so I think that's mostly why we see that. I think if you begin to talk about bodybuilding competitions and certain things where that's more common, then yeah, I think then you might hear more about women. But I think the reason that has been so um, that has been stigmatized almost, specifically with men, is because that's who you see on a mainstream level doing that. Even bodybuilding competitions, which have a huge following, like even Arnold Schwarzenegger's competition, it's not something that people are going to the IMAX to see sold out shows of. And so that's something that's more niche, right? Where like Comic Con has a huge following, but you don't see Comic Con on the news or in the theater. That's something if you're a fan of, you go to, it's a niche specific thing. Today, superhero movies and shows are all the rage. And I think that's why, because you see it on this mainstream level. I think that's why it's focus is on men, because in those things, you're seeing the men look like that, very specific body type.
Yeah, but remember, it's just a magic trick. And if you think women are using the same magic trick that men are using, you'd be you. It's a trick, so you'd be tricked. You'd be deceived. You know, there women are using it, and I'm not talking about to get jacked like bodybuilders. No, they don't need as much. They need just a little bit. But when they want to have that certain look, they're going in there. Now we know the women will do a Govee and all this other stuff, but we think that that's about it. They wouldn't inject a steroid. And what I'm telling you is a lot of these same women that you see, and there's some contests like a bikini contest. I mean, bikini contests are filled with women who are taking enhancements. You know what I'm saying? And they look feminine. They don't look strong, built like that. They look feminine, and that's the look. In Hollywood, we talk about female, a female superhero character. She still has to look feminine, but yet strong, and they'll take a little bit to get that look as well.
Okay, I get what you're saying. I don't disagree. I was just saying why I think it's so stigmatized towards men, because
Yeah,
that's who we see with that quote
yeah, I
unquote
agree.
superhero
Yeah,
body. Yeah.
yeah,
But I don't think it's that people think women don't take it. I think it's just that we see these literally larger than life men very often in these movies. Um, which is why I don't know the guy's name, but I totally respect dude who played Shazam, who was like, nah, y'all gonna have to put a suit on me because I
bodysuit.
can't
That.
do none of
Thank
that.
you. Right.
Put a bodysuit on
We
me,
got the
kid.
bodysuit.
I
Me.
could never look like that. I have no interest in looking like that. If
Yeah,
y'all
yeah.
want me, throw that superhero bodysuit on me. You know
Bodysuit
what I'm
on,
saying?
and I got you.
I'll wear whatever y'all need me to wear, but I ain't taking that shit.
Right, right. I got you with the bodysuit.
Right. Yeah. Bodysuit all day, baby, no problem. But
Right.
nah, I'm not taking none of that. And so
Yeah.
and that's why I mentioned Hugh Jackman. If dude would have came up to my mind first, I would have mentioned him. But that's why I say Hugh Jackman, because when you see Hugh Jackman on Broadway or doing his, other projects, he don't look like that. He only does that for Wolverine, and other people like The Rock and John Cena, and we're seeing some other people come up and do it too. Henry Cavill. We see these people have tied it to their identity, and so people, oh man, the Henry Cavill body, oh
Yep.
the Wolverine body, the Rock
Yep.
body, because
Right.
they've made it their identity, right? It's like Goggins is a runner. He does mad other shit, but what's his identity to many people? He's a runner. And so they've tied these things to their identity. And so it's me, right? When people see me now, they're, oh, the podcaster has entered the room. There's a podcaster here, y'all. This guy does mad podcast. Okay, well, you've tied it to your identity. Same thing with you, right? Sensei. People don't call you Dre when they see you mad times. We hang out all the time. People who are not your students and have never been your student be like, "Oh, what up, sensei?" Because it's tied to your identity. And so that's why I say that that's their brand. their brand is steroids. They don't say their brand is steroids, but that superhero body is their brand. And so I think people like dude who played Shazam, even Hugh Jackman, who obviously does use it, the smart thing is to do what they're doing. Either, if you're an actor, throw on the bodysuit, or then, do like Hugh Jackman and say, okay, is that over? It's a wrap. We're done. Do I need to do any bonus footage or anything? No,
Right,
that's it.
right.
Okay, great. Then I'm done. And the next time you see me, I'm gonna look like this.
Yeah, yeah. He's famous for rapping when like you said, when it's all done, it's all rap. Go right on IG with a big pizza and be like, boom, it's
It's a
over.
wrap.
I'm not doing any of this stuff no more. You
Yeah,
know? And I also feel it because we gave him respect because we was like, oh, Hugh Jackman said it's done. I'm not doing Wolverine no more. It's too much taxing on my body. We did a whole podcast about it. But
yeah.
we also
Actually, when he first signed on, he said the opposite. He said, "I will do Wolverine," but I told them I'm not doing that to my body again. And we were hyped.
Right, right. And yeah, we were, but we also understand, hey, we talk about millions and millions of dollars. Okay. If someone was like, Sensei, we want you in this movie, you're about to get, $1 million plus, but I need you to look like that. Well, let me go to smoothie time and get a few
Right.
smoothies and,
Exactly.
see what I could do. You know what
Let me talk to Eric in the back.
I mean? Right. You know what I'm saying? Let me see what I could do. I see you later. You know what I mean?
Right. Exactly.
See you in 4 months. I'm out. Right.
That's
So
it.
not mad at them at all.
90 days later, you'll be a transformer. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Niggas
Right.
be like, wow, I saw Sensei just 3 months ago, and now all of a sudden he's click clack click click click.
Right.
Yeah.
That's it.
Exactly that. So yeah. So we got a fun topic here. Let's hit our last fun topic, which is you. You have been walking for 40 minutes now. What's going on, man? Why are you
Yeah,
walking?
man.
Put us on. Let's have some fun. Even though this is
So
fitness, let's have some fun.
yeah, but this is a fun part. So I want us to start talking about our personal journeys. We do from time to time, but not as much as we do off pod. Like off
Yeah,
pod, pretty
off
much on a
pod, we're
daily
texting
basis.
all the time about this stuff.
On a daily basis, we text food, we text
Right.
exercises, and it's what we've been saying, and it's the sort of like the inception of why we decided to even start this pod. It's like, hey, we have these conversations all the time. We inspire each other all the time. If time goes too long and I don't see you sending me some kind of workout, I go, yo, Jay, everything okay? What's up?
Right.
And the
What's
same
up?
thing
Hey,
on your
man, nice.
side, like Dre,
Right.
like you ain't I don't see no like. So this is what keeps us going. And what I'm now doing, I got a new setup. I'm living in a new place, and I decided, hey, I want to be productive, but at the same time, do like low level exercise. And so I sent you a video. You can put the video on once I'm done, but it's like this is a standing desk. It's an electric standing desk, goes up, down, whatever you need. And we've got a walking pad. And so as people do a lot of Zoom meetings and things like that. But as you're actually working, you walk at a low pace, like pretty much what I've been doing now, something to where you can talk, you can have a conversation, but burn calories. So it's been 43 minutes and I've burned about 200 calories so far, right? That adds to my already caloric deficit. So as I shared with you today, and I can share with the audience, I already did a 45-minute cardio session earlier today. I also did some back training earlier today. So this right here would be just a bonus. This is, hey, I finished dinner, and while I digest the food, you digest that food much faster if you go for a walk after you eat rather than just sitting down and watching TV. So we set up this pad so that we can do our work, have our Zoom meetings, do whatever, but still get them steps in. I mean, I'm not the step king like yourself. I'm not getting 30,000 steps or whatever. But if I could get a little bit more,
Right.
this will help me do that. You know what I mean? Yeah.
I dig it. Let me ask you.
So,
So, is it because you're biking less? Because the last time we spoke up here, we spoke about you biking, but we haven't spoke about that up here in a while. So, you want to shed some light on that?
yeah, I haven't. No, that's not the only reason, but you're right. I haven't been biking as much, and it's just because of circumstances. Like, I haven't been able to go out there. Also, as we know, it's incredibly hot right now. It's summertime,
Super hot.
and I'm not trying to get a heat stroke getting on that bike. You know what I'm saying? And
Right.
so if I do get on the bike, I try to limit it. I can't go as hard because let's face it, let's keep it 100%. I'm getting older. You know what I mean? I'm not, 25, 32 anymore. You know what I mean? So I got to be a bit more cognizant of the things I put my body through. And so going out when the temperature says 100 and then the feel like is 120 and riding a bike, nah. I'll go to the gym. I'll jump on the elliptical. I'll go home where it's air conditioned and
Right.
do a few steps. You see what I'm saying? And
Absolutely.
as I think I told you before, I'm trying to keep my cardio zone 1, zone 2. I'm really not trying to hike it up to zone 3, 4, and 5. I'm not saying there's anything wrong going on those zones, but I'm saying for my goals, which is I'm trying to
Balance.
put on muscle, I don't want to do tremendous amount of cardio that gets my heart rate up in 3 and 4 or 5. 3, okay, sometimes it happens, but 4 and 5, when I'm really like, that's like high cortisol levels, high stress, that's not going to help my goals. So I'm really trying to do zone 1 and zone 2 cardio sessions,
Right.
something where I can talk, I can breathe, I'm not going too far. But, as you can see here, I am kind of like working up a little bit of a sweat, and that's fine for me.
Right. Yeah. So that's low steady state cardio.
Yeah.
For those who are
Lists.
listening, right? List low intensity steady state cardio. For those who are listening and watching, and the reason Dre's trying to stay in that zone is because we have learned that the high heart rate cardio, doing that for long periods of time, cuts into your muscle, not just your body fat. And so that's part of the reason why. So all right, yeah, I mean, I think that's a cool way to stay active at home. I know somebody who has like a, what do they call it? I can't remember what it's called, but it's like a bike, but it's just for your feet. So you could be
Oh,
sitting down
yeah.
at your desk and they're just
Yeah.
pedaling for X amount of time. That's like their new thing. And I thought that was really
Yeah.
smart. I don't have a video of it, but somebody I know who's a work at home person, they say, hey man, I think you guys are right. We got to start burning some calories at home. And so that's their thing. I am back to jogging. I have started and stopped a lot. I've been jogging 2 years in October. And so I am now, as you saw, as you know, I started an 8-week running plan, which is not a long time. Typically, running plans are 12 weeks. But because I've been running for a while now, on and off, I want to bang it out. I want to get this marathon under my belt. I'm not doing like the New York Marathon or the Boston or one of those, you know,
Okay.
high stake, you pay $300 to be in it marathons. It's just going to be me running. So maybe a few friends, I'll invite them and they can sit there and cheer me on if they want. But that's all it really is. It's more about me getting this off the checklist than me, winning some medal or anything like that. And so that's what I'm doing. I started last week, but I had a rough week last week. So I'm actually redoing week 1 because it's intense and I don't want to skip ahead without getting through the training. Although I've done running programs before and not finished them, this one is so specific and it has some new training that I've never done before, which I'll elaborate on in a second. I don't want to skip ahead. And so I'm okay with modifying, but I only ran twice last week. So you're supposed to run 5 days. I don't think that's enough. If I ran 3 or 4 days and did the long run, then I would say, all right, it's okay to miss one, maybe two, depending on what it was. But I don't want to just do that. So I'm restarting week one, and so probably like the last week of September, first week of October will be my marathon date if everything goes according to plan. So today I had an easy, quote unquote, 5 mile run. That's how this week starts. Actually, every week on the plan starts off that way. And so I ran while my daughter walked. My daughter's here with me, and so she walked for a little over an hour while I ran for a little over an hour. Yeah, and so she rocked out. I think it was like an hour and 15 minutes total or something close to that. Because after the run, I did my 5 minute cool down, as you should. A lot of people just hit the emergency stop button, which drives me nuts. But not only does that mess up the machine, but it messes up
Right.
your heart because you're not supposed to go from running to just doing nothing. Your heart, like anything else, needs to gradually come back down to normal. So yeah, so that was today. We hit the gym and then we hit Whole Foods, got some ingredients and came home and made some food. But yeah, so that's what I'm doing. I won't be doing any walking in place. But I think I was at 15,000 steps. So I'm probably at 15 and a half because I haven't synced my watch and my phone. And sometimes before you put the watch on, you walk around with the phone. And so right now my watch reads 15,242. I doubt y'all can see it, but there it is,
Okay.
15,242. So that's my step count for the day. I'm done for the day. I'll be wrapping up after this, just chilling at home with baby girl. So yeah, that's what's going on with me. I'm the opposite. I don't work from home. I travel, and that's why
Mm-hmm.
Dre made the step count joke. For those who don't know, when I work out, if I do go for a run, if I hit the gym, I am usually at around 20,000 steps. Sometimes more, sometimes less. Now, as this training program progresses, it will definitely be more than 20,000 steps, especially on the days I'm working. The long run every week, the shortest one, week one, is a 10-mile run. And so
Mm-hmm.
later this week, I'll be doing a 10-mile run. That is the shortest long run on this running plan. And so, yeah, the steps are about to be pretty wild. Um, but I'll also be doing strength training too. In the workout plan, strength training is there twice a week. So day number 6 is really what it is. One of the days you're supposed to run 5 miles and do strength training. But day number 6 is rest or strength train. My plan is to strength train on that day. So I'll be doing a full body workout at least twice a week. I'm trying to squeeze in more than that, but I kind of got to listen to my body because this is an intense workout plan. So if I could do it 3, 4 times a week, I will. But I should be doing strength training at least twice a week. So my plan is to do a full body workout twice a week. And it's a little crazy. I'm gonna admit it. 8 weeks is serious. I spoke to someone who's done marathons before, and they were like, 12 weeks is the norm. 8 weeks is not impossible, but that shit is serious. So if you gonna hit this
Mm-hmm.
8 weeks, I suggest you lock in.
Yeah.
So that's the plan. The plan is to,
Okay.
eat at home as much as possible, even though I'm not
Right.
home a lot.
Right.
So I've already begun, and you know this because we share, like you said, our food and our workouts. I've already begun cooking at home because it lasts so long. And so I
Mm-hmm.
cooked last week, and the food I cooked last week lasted 3 days. I ate and had 2 days of leftovers, and that was great. So I really only need to cook twice a week. And then I'm back to doing my smoothies and smoothie bowls. So trying to make sure I get both the veggies and the fruits. And then I've already went into, for running, you lose a lot of salt/sodium and
Mm-hmm.
carbs. And so I've already re-upped on some of the snacks and gels and things like that that I will need for those time periods, as well as like electrolytes and stuff.
Hmm.
So for my long runs, I'll be taking an electrolyte drink. I buy these like pellets that you put in your water. They've
Yep.
got sodium, carbs, and electrolytes. And then I have carb focused snacks for when I run because that's what you lose the most. And so those things I've already re-upped on because I know I'm gonna need them when I'm out on these
Hmm.
runs. And so yeah, that's what's going on with me. No walking pad, but
You don't
definitely
need it. New
yeah, but
New
say
York
definitely
City is
getting
your
my
walking
steps in.
pad.
Right, exactly. So between New York
Yeah.
and New Jersey, I'll be walking tons and tons of
Yeah.
steps. Like I said today, we didn't do much but go to the gym, hit the store, and come back, and I'm above 15,000 steps.
Right.
So yeah, man, trying to
But
bring back Slim Bob. You know what I'm
I
saying?
love it. I love it. I love it. But
Slim
let me
Bob.
ask you.
Yeah, what's up?
Now, are you so you're saying your goal is to do a marathon, but you don't want to do an official marathon. You're just gonna like, are you gonna enter a marathon? Are you gonna enter a marathon like some like maybe something local, like a half marathon or something like that, or are you just gonna run the distance of a marathon by yourself?
The latter. So I will be running 20. So a marathon is 26.2
Uh-huh.
miles. I know you know, but for the
Yeah.
audience, a
Hmm.
marathon is 26.2 miles. During the 8 week running plan, I have multiple half marathons I'll be running. Like I said, the first run is 10 miles, which is
Yeah.
more than a
Gangster.
10K. Yeah, a 10K is 6.2 miles. Um, a 5K is 3.1. It doubles to a 10K is 6.2, a half marathon is 13.1, and a full marathon is 26.2. And so yeah, I've never really run with people. I don't have any interest in paying to run with people. Um and so no, I will be by myself. My goal is to hit a place that has the rubber track. I'm probably going to do it at the FDR. They have a rubber track there, and I know people who live close to there. And I'll just be there for as many hours as it takes when the day comes. It'll be me and my supplies, and whatever friends want to come and be supportive.
Dig it.
Uh, and that's it. I'm not worried about medals or bibs, as they're
Yeah.
called. That's the thing with
Yeah.
your like
Hmm.
number
Hmm.
and name. I don't care if
Right.
people want to follow me on an app. I'm not here for that. There are ways to get sponsored to be in the New York Marathon, but a lot of them involve slash require fundraising up to $3,000. I don't think that's a bad thing. That's not my focus right now. Once I finish this first marathon, who knows?
Yeah.
Maybe after October, I'll say, yeah, you know what? I do want to do some of these official ones. Let me try that. I don't know. Or who knows? Maybe I'll be on my Goggin shit and be like, I'm hitting ultra marathons, more than a marathon. I have no idea today. Today, the goal is to get the monkey off my back.
Yes, sir.
I feel I've taken too long doing this because I have been inconsistent, which I say all the time. That's my biggest struggle is consistency. As much as I enjoy working out, I have not prioritized it. And so the goal is to prioritize for these 8 weeks, get this marathon done, get it off the checklist, and then evaluate and see what happens. I want to circle back. One of the trainings I've never done before is similar to what we have done in the past. It is interval training. They
Hmm.
give you a set number of miles to run, but you also need to hit X amount of running at a specific speed. So you're
Okay.
gonna run an easy. So the first one is you run at an easy pace, whatever that is for you,
Hmm.
for 6 miles. But within those six, but it says 6 miles plus, and maybe I can put it on the screen in editing. But it's 6 miles plus at least 20 seconds, 6 times at marathon pace.
Got you.
And so the way I'm looking at it is every time I hit a mile, I'll do that 20 seconds or more at marathon pace. So I already played around with it a little bit because I've never done that before. So last week, Thursday, when I ran in the 93 degrees, which was not smart,
Oof.
I did that. I did that burst 3 times. And today on the treadmill, I did the same thing. I increased the speed a bunch so I could run faster for a few seconds. And I know it's not required yet, but because that's like my next run, I just wanted to kind of give it a try to see how my body feels with it. Also, because we do stuff like that all the time on the elliptical. But since I started running, I have not done much elliptical because I
Ooh,
love elliptical and I don't want to stop running right now. And so I know
right.
if I go see wifey, I'm not gonna want to go
She
on
gonna
any
she gonna
dates.
pull
You know
you
what I'm
in. She gonna
saying?
pull you
She
in.
gonna
Yeah,
call me in. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
I'll just become an elliptical freak again. You know what I'm saying? And
yeah, yeah,
so yeah, so I
yeah,
wanted to get reacquainted with that sort of thing, or I guess get acquainted because I've never done it this way. But the mileage obviously will increase because, like I said, this is week 1, so it's the easiest week.
yeah. All right, that's what's up. I wanted to say one more thing about my setup. That
Oh yeah,
the biggest thing is trying to be less sedentary, right? Like, and this is what I want to say. You mentioned the thing with the little cycle thing under the desk. I have a walking pad. Um, it's been an hour, and I'm almost at 400 calories. And what I'm trying to say is, we watch YouTube videos, we play video games. The screen that I have here, it's a smart screen. I could hook up, a PS5 to it or whatever. But the whole thing about it is, hey, while you're doing this sedentary thing, why don't you try getting in, being a little bit more active rather than just sitting on your ass? Stand up. You could
right.
stand up and play the video game. Let's say that you don't have a walking pad. You can put it up on something and stand. Just standing is going to activate way more muscle than just sitting down, right?
Yeah,
And then if you add a little bit of steps to it, because people are always saying, and I know you run into it too, I don't have time to work out. I don't have time to work out. We've had this conversation in past pods, and maybe we'll have it again. But what I'm trying to show in doing this is you do have time to get something in. If you sit there and tell me, you play so and so video game for 2 hours and 3 hours, and that's what you like to do, and you don't have time for working out, what I say is play that video game, but then do it standing, or do it walking, or do it on some sort of cycle or something. Because while you're playing that and you're into it, and we know video game time goes by so quickly, you look up, damn, 2 hours done went by. Wow. But now
right.
you done got a workout in for 2 hours too. You see what I'm saying? So don't limit yourself. Look at this thing has a 1 hour limit. So don't limit yourself, you know what I'm saying, on just, well, I can't do that, I can't do that. Find intelligent ways. We have the technology now that you can prop things up, set your things up to not be as sedentary
Right.
when you're doing some of the activities that you love to do at home. And that was my point.
I dig it.
Yeah,
I dig it.
yeah,
It's all about being more active.
no doubt.
All right, we were active enough today. We gonna get up out of here.
No doubt. Yeah,
We
it's a
will see
good
y'all real
good
soon.
show.